Hello everybody, I think everything is fine. So today we are going to start a new chapter of class 11 biology, that is the living world. Living world ma the word living indicates life. Living indicates गर्छ life. भनेपछि first we have to define life. What is life? अब जीवनलाई कसरी हामीले व्याख्या गर्ने या define गर्ने, isn't it? So okay, as a biology students we will define life in this way. It is an unique complex organizations of molecules. You molecules are complex organization. Molecules, what is this molecules? Molecules which are present in group of molecules present in digestive system, group of molecules present in reproductive system, group of molecules which are present in respiratory system, isn't it? So that means group of molecules which are present in different system of our body. Two molecules are organization which reflects through chemical reaction. Two molecules are chemical reactions. Yes, isn't it? So when the chemical reactions of those molecules takes place in the different system of our body, it leads to this following characteristics like growth. Two organisms ma growth देख्छौं, त्यो organisms को development देख्छौं, त्यो organisms मा reproduction देख्छौं भनेपछि त्यो organisms मा responsiveness पनि देख्छौं भने adaptation पनि देख्छौं. यदि different अब if the group of molecules which are present in digestive system ma chemical reaction भयो भने त्यति बेला there will be secretions of the enzymes, digestive juices, isn't it? So like that digestive food. So if the chemical reactions of the molecules which are present in the respiratory system भने त्यति बेला breaking down of glucose takes place हुन्छ, isn't it? So when the molecules of reproductive system ma chemical reactions bhayo bhane at that time there will be the formation of the sperm and the ova, or the male gametes and the female gametes, right or not? So that means life ke rahecha bhanda feri jab tyo molecules haruko different molecules which are present in a group of different molecules which are present in our body, in the living body, not in our body, even in the plant's body, जब त्यो मोलिक्युल्सहरुको केमिकल रिएक्सन हुन्छ त्यो बडी भित्र भने त्यति बेला चाहिँ त्यो अर्गानिजम्सको डेभलपमेन्ट, ग्रोथ, रिप्रोडक्सन हुन्छ. कुरा बुझ्नुभयो नि? इफ अ प्लान्ट इज डेभलपिङ, एउटा प्लान्ट डेभलप हुँदैछ या एउटा प्लान्ट ग्रो हुँदैछ भन्नुको मतलब इट हैज लाइफ. सो व्हाई इट डेभलपिङ? किन चाहिँ यो डेभलप हुँदैछ भन्दाखेरि इट मीन्स it is due to the chemical reaction takes place within its body, isn't it? भनेपछि in our body also अब reproduction हुँदैछ भन्नुको मतलब yes, reproductive system मा different reproductive system मा chemical reactions द्वारा चाहिँ male gametes र female gametes form हुँदैछ र reproduction हुँदैछ भनेपछि life यो. So this is the definitions of the life. Okay, now we will study the different characteristics of the living beings. Okay, now let's study the characteristics of living being. Characteristics of living being. First, we'll study about the growth. पहिला हामी कसको बारेमा पढ्छौं? Growth. So, what is responsible for the growth? Growth को लागि को responsible छ भन्दाखेरि it is the increasing number of cells, even increasing mass of cells. Yes or no? Let's an example of your nose. When you're born, at that time, you have a very small nose. Okay? So when त्यो नाक भित्र हैन, त्यो नाकको भित्रपट्टि जब सेल्स डिवाइड भएर सेल्सको नम्बर बढ्दै गयो, when the number of the cells within your nose increases, when the mass of the cells increases within your nose, at that time size of your nose increases. अहिले तिमीहरुको नाक यत्रो सिंगा भएको छ. Yes or no? So likewise, you can compare the different part of our body. When we were very small, at that time, all those parts were very small, isn't it? But now, see, compare it. It's all are different from the born one. Okay? जन्मेको बेलामा भन्दाखेरि अहिलेकोमा हाम्रो त्यो पार्ट्सहरुमा धेरै डिफरेन्स छ, isn't it? So it's all due to the increasing number of the cells and the mass of the cells. So it is about the living beings, यो living organisms को example. So that means living organisms ma growth केले गर्दाखेरि हुँदछ due to the increasing number of the cells. And not only in the animals, even in the plants also, when the cells, number of the cells increases, when the mass of the cell increases, at that time growth takes place, right or not? So but when you will talk about the even the growth, we will find in the non-living organisms ma pani हामी growth देख्दछौं. For example, mountain. Even mountain used to grow. But how? भन्दाखेरि माउन्टेनमा हामीले देखेको छौँ माउन्टेनमा जति माटोहरू थुप्रिँदै जान्छ, ढुङ्गाहरू थुप्रिँदै जान्छ, स्यान्ड्सहरू थुप्रिँदै जान्छ, माउन्टेनको पनि साइज बढ्दै जान्छ। भन्नुको मतलब माउन्टेनमा चाहिँ बाहिरबाट थुप्रिँदै जाँदैछ, तर लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्समा चाहिँ भित्रबाट। द्याट मिन्स इन लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्स द नम्बर अफ द सेल्स इन्क्रिजेस इन्टर्नल्ली, वेयर एज इन नन लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्स द additions of the substances from the outside. That is the difference. But here, is growth a defining characteristics of the living being? के living beings को एउटा defining characteristics, एउटा perfect characteristics हो? हैन। किनभने even growth we used to find in the non-living organisms also. So it is not a defining property or characteristics. एउटा defining property or characteristics हैन. Is that clear? So okay, let's learn about the next characteristics, that is response to stimulus. Response to stimulus को बारेमा पढौँ. So when we talk about the stimulus भन्नुको मतलब यो पार्टमा मैले यसरी चिमाटे, यो पार्टको सेल्सको सेप बदल, internal changes in the shape of the cells, that is called stimulus. भनेपछि त्यो सेलको सेप चेन्ज हुँदा मलाई दुख्यो, त्यति बेला मेरो बाहिरको पोस्चर पनि चेन्ज भयो. This is called response. Yes or no? Internally change, that is stimulus. Externally change, that is called response. That you have already learned in lower classes, right or not? So that means most of the living organisms, they used to show response against various stimulus. Even we used to find that response in the plants also. When we will touch the leaf of touch-me-not plant, chemical reaction takes place. Chemical reaction takes place हुँदा के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि its leaves closes and opens. You have seen that. Yes, on pulvinus को कुराहरु हामीले पढेको छौं. Pulvinus बाट पानी लुज हुँदाखेरि के रे leaves closes, when pulvinus again gain the water, it opens भन्ने कुरा you have already studied in the lower classes, isn't it? So that means response, we used to find response in plants also. We used to find response, animals मा response छँदैछ, human beings मा response छँदैछ. Even if you talk about the coma person, हैन, एउटा कोमा पर्सन्सको हामीले टक गरे, इज अ कोमा पर्सन, एउटा कोमामा गएको मान्छेले के रेस्पोन्स टु स्टिमुलस हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि यस, उसको डिफ्रेन्ट बडी पार्ट्स त रेस्पोन्स गर्दैन, तर कन्टिन्युअसली उसलाई मेडिसिन्स इन्जेक्ट गरिरहेको हुन्छ भने अगेन्स्ट द्याट मेडिसिन्स उसको बडीभित्र इन्टर्नल बडीले के गरिरहेको हुन्छ, रेस्पोन्स गरिरहेको हुन्छ अगेन्स्ट द्याट मेडिसिन्स. भनेपछि जतिवटा मेडिसिन्स होला कन्टिन्युअसली मेडिसिन्स लगाइरहेको हुन्छ, इन्जेक्ट गरिरहेको हुन्छ भने अगेन्स्ट द्याट के अरे मेडिसिन्स चाहिँ उसको इन्टर्नल बडीले चाहिँ के गरिरहेको हुन्छ, रेस्पोन्स गरिरहेको हुन्छ. इभन इन द कोमा पर्सन भनेपछि स्टिमुलस विल फाइन्ड इन एभ्री अर्गानिजम्स, isn't it? But will not find in non-living. के अरे will not find response to stimulus in non-living. भनेपछि यो response to stimulus, it is a defining property. Okay, we will find only in the living beings, not in the non-living beings. So it is a defining property. यो एउटा के हो, defining property. Okay, let's learn about the next characteristics, that is third one, metabolism. About this metabolism, one student asked me, sir, what is metabolism? Let me explain now. Okay, so metabolism भनेको चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि you know that secretions of the digestive enzymes, हैन, secretions of the thyroxine from the thyroid gland, secretions of the insulin from the pancreas, isn't it? That is responsible for the entire activity of our body, isn't it? So that means internal chemical reaction that takes place within the different system of our body. त्यसलाई हामी के भन्छौँ, metabolism भनेर भन्छौँ, isn't it? So metabolism is only one characteristic which we will find in every organism, which is responsible for the entire development of the living beings. Metabolism हुँदा secretions of the growth hormone गर्दाखेरि human beings बढ्दै जान्छ. Okay, now secretions of formation of male gametes and the female gametes हुँदाखेरि त्यति बेला reproductions को लागि human beings will be ready, isn't it? So metabolism भनेको चाहिँ internal reaction that takes place in different organs of different systems. Okay, now भनेपछि internal बडीमा हाम्रो मेटाबोलिजम भइरहेको रहेछ। त्यसै कारणले गर्दाखेरि त हामी के छौँ, वी आर अलाइभ, isn't it? हाम्रो एभ्री रियाक्सन्समा हाम्रो के छ, पर्फेक्टनेस छ, isn't it? सो मेटाबोलिजम मिन्स दिस। सो अब मेटाबोलिजमको कुरा गर्दाखेरि मेटाबोलिजम विल गेट इन अल द लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्स, इभन इन प्लान्ट्स अल्सो मेटाबोलिजम, isn't it? विल गेट इन लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्स भनेपछि इभन इन प्लान्ट्स अल्सो विल गेट द मेटाबोलिजम। बट मेटाबोलिजम वी वोन्ट फाइन्ड मेटाबोलिजम इन नन लिभिङ अर्गानिजम। नन लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्समा हामी मेटाबोलिजम पाउँदैनौँ भनेपछि यो के हो, इट इज अ डिफाइनिङ प्रपर्टी। यो के रहेछ, इट इज अ डिफाइनिङ प्रपर्टी हो, यो एउटा के हो, डिफाइनिङ प्रपर्टी। ओके, लेट्स लर्न अबाउट द लास्ट क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स, द्याट इज द रिप्रोडक्सन। अब रिप्रोडक्सनको कुरा गर्दा when we will talk about the reproduction, isn't it? So reproduction, we will find reproduction in every living organism. सबै लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्समा रिप्रोडक्सन छ हामी देख्छौँ, चाहे त्यो सेक्सुअली होस् चाहे असेक्सुअली होस्, होइन नि? असेक्सुअली रिप्रोड्युस गर्छ, सेक्सुअली रिप्रोड्युस गर्छ भनेपछि रिप्रोडक्सन विल फाइन्ड इन अल द लिभिङ अर्गानिजम्स, isn't it? But will not find reproduction in non-living things, isn't it? Non-living thingsमा रिप्रोडक्सन हुँदैन। तर रिप्रोडक्सन्समा we used to find reproduction in all living organisms, तर all living organisms पनि some of the organisms they will not able to reproduce. For example, worker bees, यो जुन चाहिँ नेक्टर कलेक्ट गर्ने जुन चाहिँ ग्रुप अफ बीज हुन्छ, द्याट विल बी लर्न इन द बायोटेक्नोलोजी अल्सो, होइन? बायोटेक्नोलोजी होइन, सायद आई थिङ्क विल ह्युमन हेल्थ एन्ड डिजिज या सम वान च्याप्टर इज द्याट, होइन? कुनै एउटा च्याप्टरमा हामी पढ्नेछौँ। र वर्कर बीज दे विल नट रिप्रोड्युस। लाइकवाइज कतिवटा मेल एन्ड फिमेल ह्युमन बिङ्समा पनि कतिवटा मेल र फिमेलले के गर्नु सक्दैन, स्टेरिल पर्सन्सहरू हुन्छ नि, स्टेरिल मेल एन्ड फिमेल, स्टेरिल मेल एन्ड फिमेल भन्नुको मतलब जसले चाहिँ नानी जन्माउनु सक्दैन, हो कि होइन? भनेपछि इन द्याट टाइप अफ अर्गानिजम्स अल्सो विल नट फाइन्ड द रिप्रोडक्सन। भनेपछि रिप्रोडक्सन वी विल नट फाइन्ड इन अल द अर्गानिजम्स बिकज सम अफ द अर्गानिजम्स दे विल नट एबल टु रिप्रोड्युस। द्याट मिन्स इट इज इट अ डिफाइनिङ प्रपर्टी? नो, इट इज not a defining property, yo, defining property होइन। Is that clear? So we learned these 4 characteristics and the definitions of life. So we'll learn more about this chapter in the next lecture. आजलाई यति, फेरि भेटौँला। Thank you very much.